on Spencer Bennett. How you doing, Spencer?
I'm good, Brent. How are you, my brother?
Good. We're about to go live on the uh, TV towers and cable networks, and I'm just excited that you're with me. Spencer, you've been a voice for a long time, and fearless voice in West Texas when it wasn't popular to speak out. So you're a pioneer, Spencer, of speaking out,
Well,
and
I
we're
was a pariah. Now I'm a pioneer. Maybe that's all right.
And for
You
those
know,
who are
you pay
watching,
you pay a price. You do pay a price.
really,
A
really,
lot of people in media don't always share your views. Sometimes they don't
uh-uh.
share your political affiliations. Sometimes they are board members of Planned Parenthood. You never know.
You never
But
know.
but I'm very blessed to be working for a man who is a Christian who walks his walk and talks his talk and just a super individual. And I'm speaking, of course, of John Bushman. Uh,
Yes,
just an incredible man. Just an incredible man. Gives of his time and his resources and helps people that are in need and really supports the local radio that this country needs so much more of. When you have all these corporations that own all these radio stations and instead of each program director making their own decisions, it's just one music guy that can make decisions for hundreds of stations. And that's how Beyonce gets to be number one on the country charts.
hey, hey, look. The guy that sang for Hootie and the Blowfish, incredible country artist now.
Yeah.
It,
Darius Rucker.
it's yeah, Darius Rucker. It's not a racial thing, folks.
No.
My favorite singers are not white, but when you were so blatantly against, I'll never forget the Super Bowl halftime, and it was a call to arms, literally, for racism, and I said, you know what, this is going to kick off a new era, a division. Sure enough, it did, and so you can't. Well, I don't know. I don't know. You know what? Country music. John Rich was talking about this. Hope to talk to John sometime soon. You probably interviewed him, but John Rich said, you know what? L.A. owns the country music scene now, and the independent artists though they have the voice, But we're about to go live on TV towers and cable, uh, national cable, local TV towers in 5 cities in West Texas and beyond. And I'm just excited that we get to come to you with Hightower. And you're watching this on social media stream live before we go on. So it's just fun giving you that behind the scenes look. What you see is what you get. That's how it is with Spencer, and that's how it is with me. And nobody owns that, Spencer. No one ever has, but God.
That's right.
And
Well, and what, like I said, you make a stand because God calls you to make a stand. And there's a lot of people that would love to make a stand, but they just feel like it's going to cost them too much.
and you know
Um,
what? Silence doesn't help you, folks. A lot of you are finding that out. Silence didn't help you, did it? You still got targeted. So hey, why not? Why not be a warrior, right? And that old saying, when freedom is outlawed, only outlaws will be free. Well, guess what? If you believe in the family unit, you love your gender, you have faith, then guess what? You're an outlaw. So we follow God's law. We honor the laws of the land. But it is time right now to go live on Hightower. And here we are, Spencer. 5 cities, live local television, national cable, so many online platforms and beyond. Spencer Bennett, how you doing, my man?
Brad Fricker, I am doing great, my brother. How are you?
Man, I'm doing fantastic. Doing fantastic. In spite of, I mean, it is not an accident that we are here right now. And of course, we're live on all these platforms. Who would have thought that you would be able to do this kind of a thing? You have live streams all the time, you have live broadcasts a lot, but how often can you do this with freedom of speech now? And of course, the TV towers I'm referring to are from GLC, along with the cable networks as well. glc.us.com, last bastion of American freedom. You're also watching us on so many other platforms and other networks as well. Thank you so much, GLC, for being that light, truly the light of the Southwest. Of course, Faithful Stream, taking TV. You probably even see it on CBS segments too, believe it or not. And isn't that wonderful? So grateful for our great friends who are able to allow us to have that voice. Spencer, what's happening in the world, man?
Man, what's
Kick it
not
off.
happening in the world, Brant? I finished up the show. I wanted to talk about a few topics that many people called into the show about. And one of those topics, I didn't get a lot of airtime with the callers because really it was near the end of the show. But I think it's important since we're talking about freedom, we're talking about being out there, we're talking about, reaching these cities for God and being able to not be censored.
Right.
One of the stories, it's been in the news for years now, is the government colluded with big tech to censor your free speech. If you disagreed with maybe the Fauci narrative on COVID, if you thought, man, I've done my research on these masks and even read the box, and it says it won't stop the virus, but they want me to put 3 or 4 on. And they say, if I take the shot, I won't get COVID, but I'm hearing news about all these people getting COVID that had the shot or won't spread it. So, but you were censored if you maybe brought something like hydroxychloroquine into a conversation or ivermectin or monoclonal antibodies or things like that. You were censored. You were actually kicked off platforms like Twitter. Thank God Elon Musk bought Twitter. But they did say when he bought Twitter, he bought a crime scene. And we're just now finding out just how deep that censorship went, along with Meta, Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube. I mean, Brant, let's face it. I've been kicked off YouTube more times than out of a family reunion. It's just all the time. You share you share a little truth and it's out there. So now the big news is that Elon Musk, they want to put Elon Musk in jail in Australia.
Oh, of course they do.
And why do they want to do that, Brant? Because he has not taken their directive of censoring his entire platform, because evidently the Prime Minister of Australia thinks he's king of the world.
Right.
And I don't know if you saw the priest being stabbed by the crazy Islamist. That video.
I did.
I really appreciate and I watch his videos. I subscribe to his videos, and not the Islamist, obviously, but the priest, because he has some wonderful words. I think he has a prophetic gifting. And while he was doing one of his services, this radical Islamist got up, walked up to him, and then started stabbing him 12, 15 times. The guy stabbed him before people were able to pull him off.
Right. And we're hearing different accounts too. Some say the knife didn't open until he almost cut all 3 of his fingers off. I really don't know the details. I saw the footage and it looked like he was being stabbed. I'm not sure. I'm still waiting on some new intel on that. But have you heard that story that he was shocked it didn't open until when it did, he almost cut off 3 fingers and they tackled him?
Well, that's too bad. It's not too bad. I'm laughing inside hysterically because this guy was obviously mentally unbalanced, or he was just radicalized to the point that he thought he could just come up and stab somebody to death on a live stream. Yeah. Look around your room, Brant. But the problem is here, Brant, is the Australian government demanded that Elon Musk take this video down, which we get to see just what radical Islam is all about. And they don't want that video shown. And it's not because of the violence of the video, though it was violent. You didn't really see that much. You could see a little bit. You knew what was going on. So my question, Brant, is why did they want that video taken down all over the world? Not just Australia, which Elon Musk did remove it from X in Australia, but why do they not want people to see that video?
Well, probably because for the same reasons they don't want people to know what Surah 9 and Surah 5 say in their book. Kill all who do not follow Allah.
Well, and that's the problem, isn't it? Because when you put a face to evil and you see an ideology that wants you dead, and they can't push their narrative because there's video evidence right there, an act of violence against Christians, and we've seen many, many, many. Uh, that's the problem. They don't want that shown because they want those people in their country. They've invited those people in their country. I mean, look at Europe. What used to be a beautiful country, Sweden, is now the rape capital of Europe.
Right.
Now, who's doing the raping?
Look at Germany.
Look at Germany.
Look at
Look at the
America.
UK. And that's what they want to do to America with our open
Yeah,
borders.
yeah, yeah. You know, during President Osama's reign, you had to replace uh, Islamists with shooter attacker. Not the Christians, of course, but I saw a meme today. Scandal free for 8 years. IRS targeting conservatives. Fast and Furious. Benghazi. List goes on. You got
Pallet
to be
loads of
delusional, folks. You
three
know,
3 days left in his administration and sent pallet loads of cash to Iran
well,
because
how about
he's
this?
tied into the Muslim Brotherhood.
Of course, I investigated that. I spent a good year going across the country interviewing people dressed in disguise because a three-letter agency starts with D and ends with C was threatening their lives, folks. Ask me, that's the biggest terrorist organization in America. I saw with my own eyes. I've seen with my own eyes the widows and orphans of Obama's Muslim Brotherhood in Garbage City in Cairo. What are you going to say to me? It's a propaganda. It's the truth. So, you know, and of course, what do you do about that? Do you call them radicals? You call them fundamentalists? You know, well, your Old Testament says to stone homosexuals and to stone, well, that was the Jewish Levitical law, you know, at that time. So, you know, hey, no matter who you are, you can find enough excuses if your heart is full of hate and darkness to destroy anyone. But we're also finding out that so many countries in Africa were told by Obama, you will not have funding unless you push same-sex marriage. And they said, we don't want that here. We don't need that here. Now you have massacres in Nigeria right now of Christians because they're associating them with people like former President Osama, who were in his third reign right now. So,
Yeah.
hey, you know, are you offended? Good. Maybe you'll wake up. It's time to wake up, folks. I mean,
Well, I mean, we can look in the news and see how conservatives and Christians are being targeted every single day by this administration, which is the third term of Barack Obama.
how Middle East peace? The Abraham. I know someone that was sitting on in those meetings, the Abraham Accords. And of course, Biden doesn't know what day it is. Obama, through whoever that person is, was telling President Sisi that unless Hamas and Hezbollah, two terror organizations, can be a part of the Abraham Accords, it's no deal. So they're not nations; they're terrorist organizations. Why would this administration tell them that there's no funding, there's no support for the Abraham Accord? Peace in the Middle East could have been possible, folks. How are you going to vote next time? So you know what? Open your eyes. You need to take off your visors of what political party. Hey, they're both in trouble. And as time goes on, we learn the ugly truths of what's. That's why it's important to know that the Word of God is the only thing you can trust, the Bible, and people who subscribe to the same moral code that you do. You know, hey, gosh, what 25 years ago, 86% of Christians, you know, said that Americans said they were Christian. It's not that way now. You got millions and millions of people advertised in their own countries. Come to America, we'll take care of you. They get $1,000 UN card at the border. Catholic charities takes you anywhere you want to go. They get millions from the Biden administration. Hope I'm not offending you, but hey, it's the truth, folks.
It's
And then,
true.
of course, then $3,500 a month on your card to replace the population here in America. And we can't get most pastors even talk about this. But there are some true leaders and pastors out there, like Jeremy Sutton in Midland, Texas, of Lifehouse. He's a true blue. You know, he's a true pastor. And he speaks the truth. He's not political, but he speaks the truth. Woody Robinson in Dallas speaks the truth. Spencer Bennett on his morning show speaks the truth. It's not a political thing. I know plenty of people that voted on the other side. They're like, hey, uh, this isn't us. Well, I hope you vote like it, but it's time, folks, that you raise your voice. Silence didn't help you, did it? Did silence help you, Spencer? You and I have been talking this way since the '80s, and you've been talking this way on regular public radio long before there was an official cancel culture. And here you are, back on the air, AM 550, right there. There's an app for that in the mornings, and you can listen to Spencer in the mornings. And so I'm just so happy you're back on the air. Another voice of truth in and around West Texas.
Well, a great radio station has great leadership, and we have a great owner in John Bushman, who is a great Christian man, uh, walks the walk, talks the talk, helps people, really is a great boss, and understands. We don't have a Christian station. KCRS AM is not a Christian station.
Right.
It is a secular station. But my worldview, of course, is Christian. Everybody's worldview is what they color the world through. I just happen to have a biblical worldview, and that's what I color everything through because, let's face it, it's the truth. So it's really easy for me to share my thoughts and back that up with facts and truth. And boy, I made it a comparison this morning, Brent. I remember the Pirates of the Caribbean movie where I think it was the octopus head guy said, no, it was somebody else. It was like the first movie. You may not believe in ghost stories, but you're in one. Well, you may not believe in Bible stories, but you're in one.
Arr.
And so,
that's right, matey.
Look at the news. You're seeing Bible prophecy. You're seeing things happen before your eyes, and you're seeing what God said would happen to a country if they turn their back on him. And I mean, right now, let's take a look at some of these universities that have been indoctrinating their students with this leftist ideology. And what's happening? It's not Christian ideology. It is a leftist communist ideology. And what are they doing? They're protesting mostly violently against Israel, against Jewish. And then the Jewish students are afraid to go to class now because of the violence. Now, it may be me, but these same people look like the same people that had mostly peaceful protests back, before the election when they were burning down cities and murdering police officers and killing
let's just
people.
let them get their frustrations out. Isn't that what the Atlanta mayor said at that time?
Yeah, how'd that work out? And it looks like the same group of people are doing the same things now. And it's just growing because we've let many people from different countries who don't share our Christian faith or our ideology or an idea that America is exceptional, that it's a wonderful place to live, that we have made a difference in the world. But they don't see it that way. They're taught to hate their country. They're taught to hate their parents. And it's all coming back to roost on this administration because now they don't like the resident in the White House right now. And he's trying to get votes. So he's playing both sides. He's giving money to wanting to give money to Israel while he turns around and gives money to Hamas and Iran and makes billions of dollars available to Iran. And
he's been funding Hamas and Hezbollah. How about John Kerry? Here's what I want to know. Why was John Kerry allowed to pretty much live in Iran, trying to help them skirt UN inspections of nuclear weapons during the Trump administration? Why was that allowed? Why wasn't that, a prison term there? That's treason.
Well, that's a great question because there is something called the Logan Act, Brant, which keeps people like John Kerry, who are elected officials or representing our country, to go from going to these countries and doing exactly that. And he would be prosecuted under that if we had an administration, a DOJ, an FBI, and any other three-letter agency that was worth its salt and not corrupted from the top down. They would be prosecuting this. But that, again, brings us to the next topic, which is President Trump and what he's going through right now. I mean, Brent, I do believe, and many people have said that God has showed them that this year, this current time we're living is a season of unveiling. It is an unveiling of the evil that is going on, not only in the world, in the governments, in our state governments, our local governments, and our neighborhoods. It's a showing people that the scales are coming off their eyes, and they're seeing this. They're feeling the pain from it too because of the economy and everything else, but they're actually seeing something we've never seen in this country before, which is basically politicians treating our country like it's a banana republic and persecuting their political enemies. Now, I don't care whether you like President Trump or not. If you take a look at the facts of any one of these cases, you can see plainly that they are hoax trials. They're basically manufactured Frankenstein trials with, well, let's face it this way. If you're going to have a Frankenstein trial, if you're going to have a corrupt trial where you just want to get Trump, you're not going to get the person with the most integrity to prosecute that trial or judge that trial. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're
Well,
going to get
yeah,
you're going to get
exactly.
crooks. You're going to get crooks to do that. And I think we're going to start seeing information come out about these judges. We've already seen much information come out about these DAs and these AGs. And I think it's just going to get worse. So who's really on trial now, Brand? Is it President Trump that's on trial, or is it actually these corrupt politicians, these corrupt leaders, quote unquote, these bureaucrats? Is it really Trump that's on trial, or is it them that's on trial? And we are the jury. The court of public opinion has turned. It has turned against them. And it's turned in favor of President Trump because I believe anyone with a thinking mind, anyone who is rational, anyone who will read past the headlines and doesn't watch MSNBC or CNN and take that as gospel, that if they actually did their research, or even Fox News, okay, if you do your research, you'll see these cases are nothing but political theater.
Yeah, the liberal sons who own Fox News, they actually called the election early for Biden, folks. You can't trust Fox News. And in any, you can trust this. You see any corporate sponsor logos on the screen right now? And we're doing this because we love you, we care about you, we want to bring you the truth. We're going to speak the truth. We're going to use our First Amendment right. You still have that right, folks. And well, they, who is they? There is no they. There's a minority of people who have a whole lot of money, but there's more of us than there are of them. And you need to use your voice. You also need to use your voice in your churches. And before we go to that, Spencer, there's an old Babylonian legend that a corrupt judge was removed from the bench. He was taking bribes, and he was skinned alive. And they covered the bench, the judge's bench, with the tanned hide of that former corrupt judge, so that every future judge would be reminded, as they sat on that judge's bench, what the consequences were if they were to betray the law, if they were to take a bribe, or to be corrupt. And that's quite a policy, pretty harsh, but God is calling his people, to rise above and to toe the line. We've had a male dancer at a strongman's conference who was rebuked. The pastor hosting it was rebuked, and the focus wasn't on him realizing how wrong it was to glorify Lucifer, with an astral pole and a male dancer. The focus was on Mark's response to that. He should have talked to him in private. Let me tell you something. If I would have been there, you would have had to have me taken away. Did Jesus have to get with the Pharisees in private before he overturned the money changer tables? What are you doing there, Pastor? Are you grooming boys? You got to toe the line. You got to be a man. From what I saw, you need to come out of the closet and resign. There's no place for male strippers and stripper poles in an assembly of godly, strong men.
Thank you.
And if you rebuked it, don't walk back on it either. Be a man. You're a manly man, Pastor. The one who rebuked it. Give me a break. What does the world say? The world looks and laughs. But like Hebrews 13 talks about, judgment begins with the house of God, including those pastors who went to P. Diddy parties as well. What do you think?
Well, it's all coming out now. It's that season of revealing, isn't it? We're seeing people for who they really are, who they really serve, including some of those pastors that were tied in with P. Diddy. you can do your own research on that. We won't name names here on the show, DJ. But I will say that, folks, you better be grounded in the Lord. You better know exactly who you are donating to, who you are lending your support to. I would say I would stick with lending my support to an organization like GLC, who's actually out there, that is making a difference with great programming, that is not being censored and won't allow itself to be censored, that will be able to speak truth to power. And folks, they're deserving of your support. And we just hope that you will.
And you can do that. glc.us.com, glc.us.com, or glc.tv. You also see anywhere you see this on. You see this on Faithful Stream. You see this on Taken TV. But glc.us.com, that's where it gets started. And we so appreciate GLC and incredible people. You know, folks, they could have sold that real estate and TV towers for millions upon millions of dollars, but they didn't. They need your support. You know, we can talk a good game, but we got to put our money where our mouth is. What you're going to spend on junk food tonight make a big difference. glc.us.com. I don't need your money. I'm not getting paid for this. Spencer is in the same way. We're doing this because we love you, and we love those who are strong enough and bold enough to stand for the truth. You need to do that. I'm amazed that we're still streaming, Spencer, on some other platforms right now, but obviously we are. And folks, we're not going to direct you to a certain candidate necessarily, but we're going to tell you this: there is a war between good and evil, and you owe it to yourself to do your own research, not listen to someone who has repeatedly lied to you. The same people that were paid to kill you. You going to listen to them? And so, hey man, you judge a tree by its fruit. Someone very famous once said that. A good tree cannot produce bad fruit. A bad tree cannot produce good fruit. And we hope to be producing good fruit by encouraging you today. You know, the Bible is true. It talks about a one world currency, a new world order, a one world religion. You're seeing that happen. You think that's a coincidence? It's not. Psalm 139 says your life has already been written. You're watching us right now. And God knew that you would be. I sure hope that you know him. I sure hope that you know Jesus. You don't have to be religious, but you need to know him. You need to know Yeshua. You need to know the Messiah. And you need to align yourself. You know, Spencer, I don't know about you, but I know what it's like to live in the world. And if I'm living contrary to the way things should be, my life just doesn't seem to turn out that good as it does when I align myself with what I know deep down in my heart is right. What do you think?
Well, I mean, the Holy Spirit convicts us. He tells us which way we should go and what to do and what to say. And I'm just urging everyone, if you don't know Jesus, get to know Jesus. And he can change your life. He can move in ways that you think are impossible. He can make a way when there seems to be no way. And we just want to encourage you today. Yeah, there's some bad news out there, but you know what? We're optimistic. We know who wins in the end. And I just wanted real quickly to Brant to say, everyone who is observing Passover this week, happy Passover.
You know, miracles still happen, Spencer. We've seen that. Blind eyes open, the lame walk. People have even come back to life. And it's not a fanfare production. It's something as simple as these gatherings that we're seeing with Ron Teal Ministries and Todd Pitts and Ricky Griffin and Kurt West and Kim Perez, Andy and Stephanie Lemons and the whole team there in Amarillo, and then Midland, you know, with you, and then people like Spencer Bennett, Bob Callender, you know, Robin Darla Robertson. The list goes on and on. Lennon Marion, you know, Jake Sanchez doing a great job with worship there, but Ron Teal, God's really using Ron Teal, and people like you folks gather when you can. You can shut the doors of a building anytime you want with an executive order, but you can't shut down the bride of Christ. And we're thankful though for those pastors too that are true, that are men, and they speak the truth. And again, I'll say it again: Jeremy Sutton, Lifehouse in Midland, Texas, folks. You know what? He's a true pastor there. Woody Robinson in Dallas, Ron Charles. You watch him on GLC, of course, Ron Teal as well, and the list goes on. We know that you're there, and we're thankful for you, Spencer. You know what? You've always been a very bold, fearless witness for what's right, and you've done that masterfully as you have interviewed so many celebrities through the years, but it's also been your voice for the old time GLC viewers, that it was your voice introducing all the teaching shows. That's Spencer Bennett's voice. Did you know that? And I'm just so proud of you. Tell them real quick how they can get the app and listen to Spencer Bennett every morning.
Well, it's pretty easy. If you're in West Texas, southeastern New Mexico, we have the largest coverage area in West Texas at KCRS AM 550. We're also locally in Odessa, Midland at 97.5 and 95.5 FM. You can also listen on our website. And of course, we have an app for that. As Brent Manch, take three. I talk in radio. Brent
What's that,
mentioned
baby?
Brant mentioned that we have an app for that. I've been up since 2:00 this morning, so I'm just almost there. But if you just do a search for KCRS AM on your app store, you can find us and listen anywhere in the continental United States. We have a lot of people that listen from all over the country, and you're welcome to call in anytime.
Well, that's wonderful. So I'm looking forward to listening to you, Spencer. And folks, we're just so grateful to get to come together right now. Be strong in the Lord and the power of his might. Put on the full armor of God. We're in a war, whether you like it or not. And so don't ever be surprised. The Bible tells you not be surprised. Don't be surprised. This fiery ordeal, as if something strange is happening to you. This is a part of the deal. And God has you right now in this time. He has you living in this season. There are no accidents. So have no fear. You can't add 1 hour to your life, 1 second to your life with fear. But Spencer, you continue to be fearless, as do I, as do the wonderful people and all the platforms you've seen this on. And we're just grateful for you, folks. So pray that God blesses you and turns his face towards you, makes his face shine upon you, and give you peace. And we'll see you next time on Hightower. Thank you so much for being with me, Spencer. And can't wait till next time, my man.
God bless you, my brother. It's always good to see you, Brent.
Good to see you. God bless you, folks. We'll see you next time. And we're off the air, but we're still streaming live. That was Hightower.
That's okay. I can almost talk. Blah, 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 blah.
and if we still are, you know what, folks, all these things sometimes are not always predictable. If we are still on the other platforms, we want you to know that we love you. And you can go to GLC Facebook and you can interact live. I'm looking to see what your comments are. And we're happy to do that. We're in this together. Be sure and go to the GLC YouTube as well. Also, Spencer Bennett, go to that Facebook page as well. You'll see some deep dive episodes and more with Spencer Bennett. And again, go to glc.us.com. Support freedom of speech, the last bastion of American freedom. You can find that on GLC. And so with that said, my man, we'll see you next time.
All right. Take care, my brother.